thank the Collins Foundation and Western States Arts Federation, Encore Bank, and the Lake County Cultural Coalition for helping us make our concert season possible. So, if there are no more questions, I will introduce you to N5 Mexican Brass.
Our tuba player might think differently. Neither are we mariachi, so if you came with either expectation this afternoon, bad luck. Johann Sebastian Bach and his Fantasy in C major. Welcome to N5 Mexican Brass and Brassination. Whoever invented that title is probably in jail by now. So we will lead you through all our favorite compositions and composers. If your favorite composer will not appear again, bad luck. So we would like to play a piece which inspired us, especially the last week. We started this tour, which is the one-month tour through the country. We started north of Seattle. And yesterday was the first day without rain. So we thought it might be appropriate to warm up everybody's heart at the beginning of the concert with a piece which is called Summer by Antonio Vivaldi. Originally Concerti Grossi, 4 Concerti Grossi, the 4 seasons, 4 violin soloists and string ensemble. Well, with the strings, you know, we don't have it that well, so we will play our version of Vivaldi's Summer. Thank you very much, Antonio Vivaldi and the Summer. And let's go back to Johann Sebastian Bach. In Mexico, he's very famous as Juan Sebastian Vasquez. Well, maybe that's not quite true. He was born in Eisenach, in Germany. Eisenach is 1 hour away from where I was born. Historically, my birth was absolutely insignificant, but Johann Sebastian Bach is most likely the most influential, important composer of our times. He wrote for the church, but he also wrote what today we would call gigs. Yeah, he received money from a count, the duke, or even the king in order to compose for whatever events. So it happened to the Brandenburg concertos, composed for virtuosos of his time, different instruments. Our favorite, again, is the one for strings. And we would like to play the third movement of the third Brandenburg concerto for you. We hope you don't notice why Bach did not compose it for brass. Bach, the third Brandenburg concerto. And now we have a treat for you. As I mentioned before, there are so many favorite composers and favorite works, and we are very sure the same on your side. This concert would not be enough to play them all or give them credit. So we want to save you some many thousands of dollars of concert and opera tickets, and probably 10 years, and give you a slide through musical history. Yeah, sometimes compositions are based on something which comes from the folklore, like a simple song. And as you notice, there's this suspicious German accent here. We will talk about that later. We will play the German song, Die alte Peter and Pedro. So, this seems to be an innocent German folk song. And in fact it is. But 250 years ago, Johann Sebastian Bach had to do what many musicians have to do today. He had to audition for a job. He went once upon a time to Leipzig to audition for his almost lifetime-long job at the Thomaskirche, the Thomas Church. And the audition would look like it looks today. Somebody said, "Have a seat, can you just play is Der alte Peter. So we want to show you how Der alte Peter sounded composed by Johann Sebastian Bach. But to make it a little bit more sparkling, not only music was different, also the fashion. So here comes Johann Sebastian Bach. Johann Sebastian Bach and his version of our little song. And as Johann Sebastian Bach had to audition with this so innocent and, as you find out, so famous song, as well had to do Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Almost 100 years later, when he appeared the first time in front of the Austrian emperor, he was only 6 years old. And the emperor said, "Could you play something on the piano? For instance, Der alte Peter." Not only Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart used Der alte Peter, also we can find it in the opera. The famous Richard Wagner, he wrote the largest and the longest and the heaviest operas. And when he wrote his opera Der Tannhäuser, he wrote about a singing contest on the castle Wartburg, which actually is in Eisenach, where Johann Sebastian Bach was born, but this was 750 years later. So in the year 1100, in fact, there was a singing competition, and all the singers came from the region. And guess what was the subject of the competition? Our song, Der alte Peter. Times change, fashion changes, music changes. Richard Strauss, the famous German opera and symphonic poem composer, Richard Strauss lived in the south of Germany, in Garmisch-Partenkirchen, don't try to pronounce that. He opened his window and he had the Alps right in front of his house. So he was inspired by the singing of the cows, sometimes also the Kapellen, the brass bands, and the wind ensemble. And all this music, well, can be found in his operas. For instance, Der Rosenkavalier, inspired by our song, Der alte Peter. One of the most performed works of the last century is Carmina Burana by Karl Orff. Karl Orff found old texts, old writings in a hidden and forgotten monastery in Germany. And guess what? One of those old writings were the original lyrics of one innocent German folk song, Der alte Peter. Then there is contemporary music. Contemporary music can be very pleasing, or you get sick. Those two options. And sometimes contemporary music is experimental, which means the composer is trying to express something that nobody understands, most likely either him. And we would like to try this experiment based on melody of the Alte Peter. This is a very dangerous moment. Please don't try that at home. We need a volunteer. The volunteer was just voluntarily invited. Strong applause for this brave young lady. Here comes the task. So contemporary music also is very demanding, physically and mentally demanding. So wish us luck. becomes the version as we play it in Germany, especially in München, in Munich, with the beer. Welcome, Skittery of the French horn. Thank you for coming back. For staying. We still have 5 Mexican brass. And we changed our emotions with the Tico Tico from Brazil. And the next piece we would like to play is by a good friend of us who was born in Waireka. You heard about Waireka? Eureka, Waireka. We played in Waireka 2 days ago. And in Waireka, many years ago, not that many years ago, like 28 years ago, was born Kevin McKee. Kevin McKee is a young trumpet player who now lives in Washington, D.C. He's a composer, and he's actually one of our favorite composers, maybe our favorite alive composer. He wrote a piece inspired by a trip to the Alps and through Switzerland. And when he was passing one of the passages, which is called Durenhorn Passage, don't try to pronounce that at home, he got inspired to write the next piece. It's a very energetic piece, very floating and very imaginary piece, and we hope you make up your own story. Kevin McKee, Durenhorn Passage. Thank you very much. Kevin McKee, Golden Horn Massage. Do you like that? Oh. It's a brand new piece, and you are, in fact, the second audience who has ever heard that live, played by brass quartet. Congratulations. And the next piece is a controversial solution, because Oscar and me wanted to play Chopin. The other guys wanted to play the blues. Doesn't quite sound like there is something in between, so we decided to play a blues by Chopin. Charlie is our youngest member. He could be our son. No comment about the mother. There's a big advantage to have such a young member. He eats much less. He practices double time. He doesn't charge. Mucho. Roberto Carlos Cruz on the trombone. And I did not introduce our horn player to you when he played Tico Tico. Actually, he plays the horn since he's 7 years old. And the reason is because he was watching too much telenovela. So his parents got worried and bought him a French horn, right? So the good intention turned into something very nerdy. He had French horn friends and French horn girlfriends, French horn magazines, French horn repair workshops, French horn sales, French horn buying, dealing, and became a great French horn player, Juan Carlos Guitarra. And he is the only one from all of us who is actually from Ciudad de Mexico, Mexico City. He's a Chilango. And they say what you want. Yeah, and the next piece will be something which you might actually remember. We don't, because the Beatles came up when we were not even planning by our parents. So, but it's a phenomenon. They're as famous today as they were. And we would like to play our favorite songs by the Beatles, Michelle. Jose is from a tiny village in the mountains beside Mexico City, behind Texcoco. And this little village is pretty ugly, isn't it? Well, behind the village, there's nothing. There's nothing left. There's just finito, nothing else. But Jose comes from a tuba dynasty. That will be the new reality TV show. His father was a tuba player. His grandfather was a tuba player. His great-grandfather was a tuba player. His great-great-great-grandfather was a tuba player. Everybody was a tuba player. Back until Nezahualcóyotl, who was a king. Something strange happened to that family. Jose Lopez. Yeah, and if you're not familiar with the international connection of music in the next place, we tell you a tiny little story. It is almost true. Once upon a time, Mexico had an Austrian emperor. His name was Maximiliano von Habsburg, very Mexican name. They did not invite him, he came anyway. and the story ended very sadly. But he brought Austrian Ufta music to Mexico. When he was gone, the music stayed and became one of the traditions in Mexico. Brass band, symphonic wind band, and so on. The same tradition exists, of course, in Austria, Switzerland, and Germany, where I'm from, and goes further to the Balkan Peninsula and even into Romania. So if you have ever wondered what Mexico has in common with Germany and Romania, here's the answer with our Mexi-German, whatever thing, the Balkan thing. Hello. Well, I have the pleasure to introduce you. First, is a good friend. Second, in this tour is our chef and our yoga teacher. And as you can see, is our fashion designer. and sometimes he once played trumpet with us. Ladies and gentlemen, from Berlin, Germany, Alexander El Güerito of the Balkan Front. Thank you. This was English. Where did this come from? Google Translator. Are you having fun? So, can you see this curtain? We were behind that curtain when you came in. We heard everything you said. And somebody said, oh, Westside Story. So one of our favorite composers also is Bernstein, the composer of Amor Sin Barreras, as they say in Spanish, to the Westside Story. It has too many beautiful songs to play them all in this concert, so we choose one somewhere. Thank you very much. You're still having fun? We forgot one of us. On my right, which is to your left. If you turn around, it will be to your right too. If you turn to the right, around it doesn't change. Oscar. Oscar is from Jose's neighbor village. Jose's neighbor village up in the mountains. There's a kind of a rivalry between the villages because one village is ugly and one village is very ugly. But they can't make up their mind which one is which. So, without any joking, in Oscar's village, 50% of the inhabitants play an instrument. What do the other 50% do? They sell the beer, right? Oscar Villegas on the trumpets. Last but not least, in case you want to go home, we have our last piece. You can change your mind. We would like to take you to Argentina. Argentina has this phenomenon. It's not the good food, it's not the beautiful women, it is the tango. The tango is much more than just a dance. The tango is a story of love, a story of passion, a story of surprises, disappointments, and certainly a story of very strange postures. Becomes the world's most famous tango. Lieber Tango erst doch, jetzt noch. you want more? ¿Quieren más? Mucho más. ¿Alguien aquí habla español? Somebody speaks and understands Spanish? Do you like Mexican music? Do you like Mexican food? Because we have some suggestions here in town. You might know about. We're actually very happy that our two charming waitresses came this afternoon. So, here comes the homage to your Mexican restaurant. Is the owner here somewhere? Ah, over there. No? See? No? Well, if he is here or not, the homage is here. Here comes some Mexican music. In Mexico, people don't just listen to music, they immediately scream, dance, whistle, and go crazy. Let's see what you got. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Dankeschön. Muchas gracias. One more. So, here's the deal. Can you see this wonderful, charming, good-looking young man in the corner? He is... Exactly. This is Saul, and Saul is our cameraman. He's filming a documentary about M5. Eventually, you will see it on CNN, Fox, CBS. Don't say no. Well, so he's filming, and actually we would like to ask you if you feel comfortable with that. He's asking some questions, and if you don't feel uncomfortable with that, it would be very nice if you could tell him how you like this concert, what you do, how your bank account debts are, like all these questions. Usually people ask. No, nothing like that. So, and today is Saul's birthday. before, we would like to play a special birthday song from South. You know, people usually say happy birthday. Yeah, it's the same. In Mexico, it's Las Mañanitas, but we are a special group. We don't just play what everybody sings. We play the 8th Symphony of Anton Bruckner. It takes 2 hours. We hope you have time. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. If you still want more, don't sit down. One of our charming waitresses is from Guadalajara. You win a CD if you can pronounce that. Guadalajara. And here comes. Only for you. Guadalajara.